Namaskaram. We are continuing with the story of Nala and Damayanti in Mahabharatam. We stopped by saying that Damayanti's father had sent people, Brahmins normally, sent Brahmins to everywhere, to all the kings and even to places where people get together, like a festival. To all those places they went and announced that if anyone has seen or heard any news of Nala, the king of Nishadas, or Damayanti, who was the daughter of Vidarbha. Even if they have heard some news, they should inform him. They will be suitably rewarded. He offered hundreds of cows for the news, just the news. And one Brahmin by name Sudeva, he went to where the place where Damayanti was, Chedi, the Chedi kingdom. And Sudeva was talking to the queen, and suddenly he spotted a young woman, very beautiful, looked from a very good family, though she was wearing worn clothes and she was not clean looking, and she looked tired. But in spite of all that, her face showed that she had the royal look. So, and not only that, Sudeva used to visit Vidarbha king, right from Damayanti's young days. So Sudeva has seen Damayanti when she was young. So Sudeva thought, this woman looks very much like Damayanti. So he sent the word, what is it called? He straight away went to Damayanti and told her, are you not Damayanti? And Damayanti started crying. And then he went to the queen of Chedi and said that I'm coming from Vidarbha, from the king, and I have seen Damayanti in her childhood days, and this maid of yours, I'm sure she is Damayanti. So please talk to her, and we should make proper arrangement for her to be sent back to her mother. And the Chedi queen, she was the sister of Damayanti's mother. They were sisters. One was married to Chedi, another to Vidarbha. And she was very pleased to know that her sister's daughter was staying with her all this time. So she went, embraced Damayanti, consoled her, and said, now you go to your mother. She is waiting anxiously for you. And they arranged for a palanquin. Palanquin, in Malayalam, pallakka. Palanquin is how queens and princes move about. They don't travel mostly in chariots, because chariots are used by men and mostly used for wars. It's exposed. Palanquins are closed. The person sitting inside can see outside, but outsiders cannot see. That was the time when women from good families, they don't appear in front of strangers. So she was sent to Vidarbha in a palanquin. And when Damayanti reached, Damayanti's mother was very, very pleased. Both started crying and embracing each other. And the first thing Damayanti said was, "Mother, that I can't wait until we find Nala. So you must immediately send people to all over the place and look for Nala." And Damayanti's mother told her father about it, and he agreed. And Damayanti instructed them, those who were going, that they were Brahmins. So Damayanti said, "Tell these same words which I tell you. Announce this to the kings you meet, and even to festivals where you make this announcement. You must say, you have, that is, these are the words to be spoken. You have left your wife who was sleeping all alone, tearing half her cloth. She was wearing a cloth and you tore her half cloth for yourself. And left her sleeping all alone in that forest. She was hungry, thirsty, and asleep. Your wife remains exactly as you left her, wearing that half piece of cloth even now. Please feel pity for her and give her a reply. The husband should always take care of his wife." These were the words Damayanti told them to be announced to whichever, wherever they meet people. This was a very clever move by Damayanti, that, the people were supposed to announce this and observe how everyone reacted to these words, how they, after listening, how they looked. Did they cry, or they make any sign of recognition? This was a very clever move, because she couldn't go in the public looking for Nala, and she couldn't reveal her identity, because then unwanted people might come. So this was a very clever move. Only Nala would have responded. A Brahmin by name Parnada, when many Brahmins were sent to many kingdoms, one by name Parnada went to Rituparna's palace. And he announced this. And he came back saying, "I haven't heard from anybody except that when I went to Rituparna and made this announcement, there was no sign from Rituparna nor from anybody sitting around. But when I observed that a man who looked like their charioteer, he had tears in his eyes. Throughout this announcement, he was shedding tears. And when I came out, he came with me to a distance to make sure he's alone with me. Then he spoke. What he said was, his name was Bahuka. He said, a wife devoted to her husband should, will survive in all difficulties. just because of her devotion, her pativratya, that gives women great powers. So they will survive in all difficulties. Even if her husband lost his land and wealth and because of hunger may move away from his wife. Because of bad situation, bad position, he might leave his husband. But even then, the wife should not get angry. These were the words spoken by Bahuka. And then Damayanti and Damayanti's mother asked Parnada, how did he look? Oh, he was dark in complexion, short, and his hands and feet were also short. Then they were confused. Nala wasn't looking like that at all. He was fair in complexion, tall, well built. So it was confusing. But Damayanti suspected strongly that man must be Nala in disguise. Somehow he must have managed to disguise himself. So Damayanti confided this to her mother, and with her consent, she sent the Brahmin Sudeva, not the Parnada, because Parnada was just like any other. But Sudeva knew the family well for a long time. He was the one who recognized Damayanti. So called Sudeva and asked him to go to Rituparna and tell the king that Damayanti, because he lost her husband, he is going to have a second marriage by Swayamvara. That means she will select a husband of her choice, a king of her choice. So for this purpose, people have been sent to all the kingdoms announcing that Damayanti is having second marriage. Please come. But the marriage is the very next day. So they should hurry. And this another clever move by Damayanti was this Rituparna's palace was 1200 kilometers away from Vidarbha. And that distance must be covered in one day. And Damayanti was sure only Nala could drive the chariot so fast to reach this distance in one day. Nala could, she knew, because Nala knew Ashwahridaya. So this was the clever move. And if Rituparna wanted to come, Damayanti was sure that he will ask Nala, because Rituparna knew Nala knew Ashwahridaya, then they would reach. So that is another stage of the story, and time is up. I stop here. We shall continue next day. Namaskaram.